Hello, everyone. This is early morning Friday, April 7th, Armenia time. And we have a special guest today with us, Naira Melikyan, mother of fallen hero Hayk Melikyan, and also a member of the organizing group for Miasin, or Together movement, which we'll talk more about today. There was a publicized incident today when a party of concerned members that was apparently organized by the Miasin movement tried to go through the new road, through the new Lachin corridor, and they were stopped by the Armenian side. So we wanted to talk a little bit about that and some of the further plans of the Miasin movement. Naira, welcome. Thank you for joining us this late. I apologize for such a late recording.
You're very much welcome, Hovik, and yes, good morning, or I don't know what time, what hour is this, so, but it doesn't matter because we're losing our motherland step by step, and I think that now 24 hours we have to be awake and try our best so that we can change the situation, if we can change the situation.
Indeed. Very concerning times. And, I attended the rally that you had held in front of the National Assembly earlier in the week. It was definitely more than, the turnout was more than what I expected. And that's when I learned that you had also planned to drive to Artsakh. I believe you wanted to go to Artsakh and to the newly built road. And indeed you did today, and we saw some of that footage, which was very concerning today, and you were apparently turned away. Can you please tell us what happened, in your own words?
Yes, of course. So, dear Hovik, if you remember, about a few days ago, actually on March 31st and April the 1st, I was again in Sunik region after we heard that Azerbaijani side has come forward by another 5 kilometers without any, shooting, and they have come again forward in our sovereign territory. We decided to go to that location, which is the village of Terh, and to study the situation, to see everything ourselves, and to understand what is going on in our territory. And yes, about 3 or 4 days ago, when we came to Terh, we found out that the checkpoint has changed during one night, and now that at the new checkpoint, only the police forces and the so-called border forces, which is actually national security forces, were standing, and they wouldn't let us go in. And they said that they were doing this because of our security, because now that territory was already under the control of the Azerbaijani side. And we also saw a lot of buses, and we saw that the troops were being taken away or taken down off the hills. This, how you call them, the heights, and because now these heights were already under the Turks. And right. The interesting part of that was that about 10 meters away from that checkpoint, there was that new road that they have built during the past few months, and that road was actually leading to the checkpoint of the Russian peaceful forces. And I should also say that this is actually the road which was providing or securing the movement of the emergency cars from Artsakh and back to Artsakh. And not only emergency, but also, whatever Paren Amaterk, whatever.
Supplies, food, and
supplies were still limited. Supplies were still being taken to Artsakh. It was only possible by this road, which was controlled by us, and there was the checkpoint of the Russian troops, and they were letting you in, and then you were riding up to Lisagor and Stepanakert section, and then going into Artsakh.
Yeah.
So this was the situation by April the 1st, actually. And that day, we, without any problem, we reached the Russian checkpoint, and actually they met us with a huge respect. They said that there was no problem. They asked me if they could check my car. They checked it, and they asked for our passports. They photographed the passports, sent to their, officers, high officers, and then they said, okay, now you can go in. But after just 1 minute, they got a call from Stepanakert, and a person with the name of Hayk told us, they put the cell phone on a loudspeaker, and he told us that we cannot pass because they did care for our security.
So this is in Lisagor, yes. Is that right? Okay.
No, we didn't reach Lisagor. Actually, this is the road that is bypassing Kornidzor or Terh, and then coming to the Russian checkpoint. And then after Russian checkpoint, if you continue, then you drive and come to Lisagor.
Yeah. So okay. So this is the Russian checkpoint on the bridge of the Aravno River. Okay.
Exactly. So this was the situation on April the 1st. As I said, only the progress was limited at the location next to the Terh village, and the other road it was open, and we could easily go by that road and reach the Russian checkpoint, and then continue to Lisagor and Stepanakert. Now today, we again decided to go to Sunik, to Terh village, with other participants of our movement that is called Miasin together. And the main idea of that visit was to go to stand by our villagers, to be next to them, and also to understand if there was any change in the situation, and just to support them so that they know that they're not alone. So we again came to the same checkpoint at the end of the Terh village, and again we were met by the police, and they again told us that they could not let us in because of our security. But today the surprise was that that new road that was open last time, now the police forces were also standing in the beginning of that road, and when we tried to continue, they stood in front of our cars and wouldn't let us in. But we drove against them, against the police. Yes, actually. And then they jumped right and left. And I and Jivan, Jivan Mikhailian, he's another parent. He's also a parent of a fallen soldier. Our kids were together and at service. And we, Jivan and I, we continued by that road. And we thought that within 15 minutes we will reach the bridge where the Russian troops were, and we will continue. This time we will be successful and manage to continue to Lisagor and Stepanakert. But the surprise was that just in the middle of that area, before you reach the Russian checkpoint, now we could see a new Armenian checkpoint, again with the border troops and with the police, and there was this barrier, actually metal, a very strong barrier, and they already had installed there some how you call them, the boxes where they meet the people, they check the passports, and kind of an office,
Right.
but a temporary office. And that's another problem because it's temporary. And I guess next time Azerbaijani side will come even more forward. And they told us again that we cannot pass through. And it was a surprise. And we said, why? And they again gave the same answer, because of your security. But then when we approached the gorge, because from that place you could see the bridge, the Russian, we noticed that now between the Russian checkpoint and this new Armenian checkpoint, there was already Azerbaijani flag and then actually Azerbaijani checkpoint, a post. And now,
okay.
yes, and now it's clear. I mean, within 3 or 4 days from April the 1st, today is actually, we went on April 6th, right? Within 5 days, Azerbaijan has again occupied another portion of our land, and now they have their checkpoint or a post. It's not still a checkpoint, but I'm sure that they will have the checkpoint within a day, or they already have it, but they are not announcing about that. And now I'm not surprised that about a day ago or 2 days ago, I think a day ago, you remember that teasing and I mean, again, terrorizing our Artsakh people who were trying to return from Goris
last night,
Artsakh, and they wouldn't let them in, and they came back to Goris again. Because why? Because now between the Armenian side and the Russian side, there is a Turkish side. And if you want to go to Artsakh, you have to get their permission first. And you know that Turks will never let you go in.
So
they
what
will
did the
let
Armenians
you go out, maybe, but never let you go in.
What did the Armenian side tell you when you approached them and asked to be allowed to go through?
You know, the Armenian side, after we noticed that, after we went and we saw that there was this Turkish post between us and the Russians, they said, you see, now you understand why wouldn't we let you in, because you will go directly into the hands of the Turks. That's what they said.
Oh.
And I want our people to understand our situation. And I mean, it's whatever is happening to us, it's not even happening by days, it's happening by hours now. And they're coming forward step by step without, I mean, any shooting, without any noise, silent, having this agreement with the Turkish government that we have in Yerevan. And if this continues like this, I'm sure, of course, I would rather prefer to cut my tongue than to say this, but maybe in a few months they will come to Yerevan again, walking without any shooting, and they will come to Yerevan, and our people will still be enjoying their coffee and their tea in the cafes in Yerevan. So this is killing
these
me.
are very troubling times. Naira, let me, for our listeners, we're recording a video too. I don't know if the video will be, we'll publish the video, but right now I am showing a map on the video. So to be clear, the previous way that people went from Goris to Stepanakert is through the village of Ter. North of village of Ter, there is the traditional Goris Stepanakert highway, which is now in the hands of the Turks, and the new road, which didn't even exist when the Turks took over. The old one goes through. Before you reach, you pass the village of Ter. You go to east and north of Kornidzor. From Kornidzor, they have built a new road between Kornidzor and the bridge on the Aramno River. So you're right. So you have the village of Kornidzor, you have that newly built road, then you have the bridge on the Aramno River. The Russians are on the bridge. there is, and what you're describing is there is also an Armenian post on that road that takes you to the bridge. And
that was actually installed there on April the 2nd.
Right. And so just to be clear, you're saying that there is now an Azerbaijani military post or some kind of a military presence near or on that road that is basically prohibiting us from traveling to Artsakh that way. Is that correct?
Exactly. That means that if you want to go to Artsakh, now you have to get the permission of the Turks. If before you had to ask only,
Wow.
you have to ask only for the permission of the Russians, not the permission. Actually, they were securing your security so that you could securely reach Artsakh. Because we know on Shushi Road, when usually by Ter village, that former road you were going to and reaching that cross section of Shushi, then everybody knows that when you were turning to the right, you were going to Shushi, and if you were going straight, you were coming to Stepanakert. Now in that location, we know that on the right side, it's Azerbaijani troops or whatever checkpoint. And then there was the Russian peacekeeping forces who were again securing you going to Stepanakert. Now, again, that road does not operate anymore. This government was telling us that they have built a new road bypassing Ter village, and by that village, again, by that bridge, crossing over the Aravno River and passing through the Russian checkpoint, you were going to Lisagor, Stepanakert part, and then again going into in or out Stepanakert. Now you cannot even reach the Russian checkpoint because on our territory, in our territory, Turks have already put their own checkpoint.
Yeah, or military post, or some kind of a, you said you saw a flag there, and so forth.
You remember Lavrov, the foreign minister of Russia? He was in one of his statements, he announced that by the agreement of the November 9th agreement, there was no agreement on the Azerbaijani side having customs or any checkpoint so that they could check whatever, the cars or whatever was going in and out of Artsakh. And they were insisting on it. I'm pointing this out so that people understand that these are not the Russians, who are limiting our movement, because they were against Azerbaijani side having any checkpoint there. But now, when Nikol Pashinyan probably understood that they cannot reach or achieve the agreement or the silence from the Russians, they probably negotiated with Aliyev, and they together made an excellent decision for themselves. That is that if they do not want, that they are against that the Azerbaijani checkpoint, then let me give you another piece of our land, Armenian land. You can come and have your post over there, or military base, or whatever we call it. And then our plan will be utilized, and nobody can go in and out Artsakh without your permission. So this is what's happening. And this is a real tragedy. Now I could say for sure that if Artsakh, yes, it was under a blockade, but it was still 90% blockade, let's call it. And somehow people were getting again all those the food and medicine, and also as for some emergency purposes coming to Yerevan and then going back to Artsakh. Now it's 100% closed.
Yeah, the Artsakh government announced that they will require prior approval for anyone wanting to, come to Armenia. So this is for their own safety, and it would need to be under the escort of the Russian peacekeepers.
Exactly, Hovik-Can, because now when people from Artsakh, they come and they again reach the Russian checkpoint and actually the end of the breach, and they have to enter the Armenian territory. Now Turks are there, they're located there already, and they, of course, they will not let them, or they will again take them as prisoners, or they even may kill them and do whatever they want to do. I mean, now it's we understand why the government of Artsakh put this limitation.
Yes,
because you're coming directly into the hands of the Turks.
Well, these are very troubling. This is very troubling news that we're hearing, and I know that Miasin movement is trying to spread this information, and there is a scheduled rally on April 11th. Can you tell us a little bit more about the movement itself, and also the rally, and what your goals are?
Yes, with pleasure. This movement actually it started about 3 months ago. Of course, I learned about it just recently, but 1 month ago, I was told by friends that there was such a new movement, and it has sheltered just individuals, some NGOs, and some parties, political parties actually, like Armenian Democratic Party or Azatakan Party. But these are parties which have not which are still they have still a good reputation. They have never been blamed.
So I believe Azatakan is Hrant Bagratyan's party.
Yes.
Yeah, and
yes,
Democratic
yes.
Party is Aram
Sarkisyan Party.
Yes.
And also there are some other organizations, and also Paistazor,
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
the reserve officers.
Yes, we have a few generals, the police generals or army generals, who had the courage of joining this team. And we have a lot of other people. I mean, we have artists, we have scientists, we have common people, and also people who are involved in political life of Armenia. And this movement actually, it was created on the basis of one idea, which is to serve for your country, and to do everything so that we actually save our country. Because it's not just a word to save our country today, because we know that this junta has seized the power since 2018. And if in the beginning they were just hiding behind democracy and coming as savers, as actually Jesus Christ, to punish all the corrupt and to do this and to do that, now they openly show that they are serving the interests of the Turkish and Israeli or whatever, the sanitary sewer centers, and that they have only one idea in mind, that is to eliminate Armenia as a state, as a country, and to put us again in the hands of the Turks, and to end up everything by another genocide, let's say.
Okay.
And so again, the idea of the Miasin, or together, was that whoever is ready to stand by his country, by his people, and to try its best so that we can finally make this Kappa or my step, whatever you call it, how you call it, քաղաքացիական պայմանագիր, right? The civil
Yeah.
civil contract. So this power that is led by Nikol Pashinyan to actually resign, and then let us form a temporary government. That government will be a conglomerate of professionals who will mobilize all our, resources and try to stop this terrible crisis that is happening to us on daily basis. At least to fix the situation, and then by mobilization of all our resources, start again recovering the army, and also diplomatic relations with our strategic partners, Russia and Iran, and to stop the Turkish Azeri invasion, because we know that today, under the circumstances when Nikol Pashinyan is cheating and lying, and people are not informed, and Turks know that this is the best time, that they will never be given another opportunity of eliminating us as a nation, as a statehood. So this is the idea, Hovik-Can. Actually, I said everything. So this was the idea that united us all. Yeah.
So tell us more about the rally. Where is it? When is it?
So the second rally is on April 11th at 6 p.m. And this time it will be in the Freedom Square Opera, actually. This is, the Freedom Square is where we started back in
the Artsakh movement, yes, the Qarabağ movement.
90s, the beginning of 1990s, Artsakh movement, and it's a symbolic place. So we hope that now, yes, because the first rally, unexpectedly, there were more people than expected, and we hope that the second rally we will have even more. Triple, and if we can again successfully continue this, so eventually our people will rise, and we will get rid of this junta.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I realize it's quite late, and we wish you the best of luck in your endeavors, and we will definitely be there to also participate, because
thank you so much.
I share your views.
Thank you so much. But during the last that last rally, we agreed with all the participants and also the people who joined us that we will never again tell each other, if we're Armenians, we will never tell each other thank you, because we're doing this for our country, for ourselves, for the future of our kids. And so who is really feeling that he's Armenian, even if he's not Armenian, but he have this feeling for the country, for the people, they should be there.
Understood. Very, very good. We'll meet hopefully on April 11th.
Yes, I hope very much, Hovik-Can. I hope very much, because we do not have any more time, because we see what's happening, and now they have inherited a new strategy, because they're very much scared that if we have new victims, then the people will go to the streets. So now they are doing this silently, and after they give more of our territory, and actually this is happening everywhere. It's not just in Sunni. It's happening also in Vardenis, it's happening in Yeras, it's happening everywhere. Then actually at the end we will have a lot of victims. So I'm again calling for our people, both in Armenia and outside Armenia, our diaspora, to wake up and to stand for their country, because if we lose this statehood, we will never have another statehood again.
I join your call, and again, we were talking with Naira Melikyan, mother of Hayk Melikyan, who heroically gave his life so that we here can live, and we will definitely not forget, and we'll continue that struggle. Thank you, Naira Jan, and
Thank you,
best wishes
Jan.
to you.
Thank you. And good night. Bye-bye.
Night.
That concludes this Conversations on Groong episode, and we hope you found it useful. As always, we invite your feedback. You can find us on most social media and podcast platforms or our website, groong.org. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our pages, and follow us on social media. On behalf of everyone in this episode, we wish you a good week. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.